All right, we are joined by the Dallas Cowboys representation here.
Mhm.
Mike, Nerd Mike V on Twitter has
That's
joined
right.
us. And this is not a pod where people, usually you make an Eagles pod, you make a Giants pod, you don't go to the other team and interview their fans. But that's what I thought would be ideal for this off season, for this, since the draft is over, the free agency is over. I think it's good to cross enemy lines and get an idea of what these guys from Dallas think of everything. So I wanted to ask you first, because the news just broke yesterday that Andy Dalton is now a Cowboy.
Mhm.
Dak is not signed. I just read an
Correct.
article on Pro Football Focus. This is probably BS, but they're saying the Cowboys should rescind their franchise tag offer to Dak since there's not many options in free agency to try to get him at a cheaper deal. What do you think of Dak? What do you think of this signing? And tell me what you think in general of that situation.
I think Dak is worth it. I mean, I think we should give him whatever money that he's asking for. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a team that's capable of winning now, but you've got to have that quarterback. And while I like Andy Dalton, he's not a contending quarterback.
See, I'll,
He's an okay quarterback, but I don't think he's taken you very far.
I'll
And
fight
I
you a little
think
bit.
that
I'll fight you a
okay.
little bit on this because I think Andy Dalton, when he had a good team around him in Cincinnati, routinely won. He won a few divisions with them. He had AJ
Mhm.
Green on this team. He's going to have even more weapons than he had in Cincinnati.
Mhm.
And I mean, I compare the Carson Wentz Nick Foles thing, right? With in Philly, everyone, the dumb fans will tell you that they'll to this day they prefer to have Nick Foles as their quarterback. But any normal fan that knows what they're looking at will they just, yeah, Nick Foles went on a great run. He had two good games, really. The rest of the time, the Atlanta playoff game was trash. There a few games into the regular season, towards the end of the regular season against the Raiders, he was trash. And then, he
Mhm.
went on a run and he won us a Super Bowl. We got very fortunate with that. And he played well, to his credit, but he's not better than Carson Wentz. With you guys, I don't think that the difference between Andy Dalton and Dak is that big. I don't.
Really?
He's a playoff quarterback. He's had success. He's won divisions. He's a suitable replacement. If not wishful thinking, I think Dak is very good.
Right.
Not
Mhm.
To me, Dak is like a stronger version of Alex Smith. Not gonna. He's a game manager to me. He's not a.
He
Go ahead.
he threw for a lot of yards. He threw for a lot of yards. He was gosh, I need to know this. I think he was top three in the league in yards, in
He
passing
was.
yards.
So brings me to my next question. You guys had a really good offense. I'm not fighting you
Mhm.
on that. Put up a lot of points. Look, I hated it. It was really good. Um, what led to your 8-8 record? Because on paper, I was like, the Cowboys are going to wipe the floor with us. When the Eagles suffered the third year in a row of crap injuries, just across the board, O-line, receiver, Deshaun goes down week one. I'm like, it's Dallas's division. There's no debate. And
Mhm.
we're sitting at 8-8, and we beat you guys in Philly. And what happened?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us Cowboy fans are asking the same question. I think we had a really good offense. I think we had an at least average defense. It's pretty well known that we were terrible on special teams. Um, just like I would say, bottom five in the league special teams play. It was just horrid. And then honestly, as much as it sounds like a cop out, a lot of bad luck. I think we had bad things happen at bad times and good things happened, but it was not enough to actually push us over. So most stats will show you that we were like a top five offense and an at least average defense, but just really, really bad timing on some unfortunate plays and some just awful special teams play.
Were you a advocate of Jason Garrett staying, or did you want him gone?
I wanted him gone. He seems like a fine guy,
Yeah, he does.
but I'm a
In Philly,
I'm
we
a
loved him. Just so you know.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think the Redskins, Giants, everybody did except for the Dallas fans. No, I'm a fan of like being aggressive on offense. I think teams like the Ravens, who had one of the highest
He was not
going for it
aggressive. He
rates
didn't
on
go for it
fourth
on fourth
down.
down like he should have a lot of times. There,
No,
there were games where he punted from like the opponent's 41. When it's fourth and one, you have that line and you have Zeke, third best,
mhm.
top three running back in the league. He wouldn't do it, and I
He
loved it,
wouldn't do
but he
it.
didn't. He wouldn't do it.
And predictable offense overall. We had one of the lowest rates in terms of like using pre-snap motion.
Right.
Lowest rates in passing the ball on first and second down. He was just very old school, predictable, and I think that with the offense that we're building, especially now with the addition of CeeDee Lamb, I think you got to open that up a little bit.
Let's talk about my favorite pick in the draft. Eagle fans everywhere, we all had it in our brains that if we could get CeeDee Lamb, that would have taken us over the top because he's the NFL comp is DeAndre Hopkins. You now have DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to play the slot for you. I don't understand that because to me he's a outside receiver, and
he'll play the slot sometimes. I think Amari will play the slot as well.
Really?
Basically, I think him and Amari are both going to be pretty fluid in terms of coming inside and outside. Gallup will stay outside pretty much.
Yeah, Gallup will stay
and then
outside.
There's even been talk about putting Pollard.
Yeah. And then you got Trayvon Diggs in the second round. That's for a second round pick. I had him in the first round going to some teams in my mocks. I was like, this is a first round talent. He's good at press coverage. And, the Eagles got Jalen Reagor. I was like, okay, fine. He's a fast receiver, but everybody wanted CeeDee Lamb. And my thing with your draft is I'm very jealous of it. Tyler Bladdish, the fifth round pick to replace your center. I wanted him to replace Kelsey because Jason Kelsey's going to retire like in a year or two. So to me, that would have been a nice pick. He seems like that. He seems like a Jason Kelsey replacement, like a clone. And I wanted to ask you, first of all, what did you think of the draft as a whole? Were you really impressed with it, or did you think we should have gone?
I was so happy. I did not think there was any chance we would land CeeDee Lamb in the first round. When that happened, I was just over the moon.
You weren't happy? They didn't go with the defensive end, though? Like you were, which leads me to free agency a little bit, too. But you didn't think that maybe your defense needs to be shored up a little bit?
I think defense does need to be shored up a little bit. But in general, I think offense is more important. The nerds of the world will tell you that offense is more predictable than defense, right? So, like, if you're good at offense, it's easy to stay good at offense. If you're good at defense, then that's sometimes just luck or randomness because you played bad teams. So I was mad that we let go of Byron Jones. But, I mean, adding CeeDee Lamb level talent to the offense was something that I don't think we could have passed up. I was very happy with that pick.
I'm one of those people that think that having too much offense ruins the balance because now you have Amari Cooper who's going to need to get his targets. It's like having LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and I don't know, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid on one team. It's not enough ball to go around. So you have Zeke you have to feed, you have Amari you have to feed, you have Gallup who's a really good player you have to feed, and now you have CeeDee Lamb. That to me, and I'm hoping that this is the case because I'm an Eagles fan, leads to discord within your offense. There's not enough mouths to feed with one ball. I mean, there's too many mouths to feed with one ball. So to me, it's exciting for sure. Don't get me wrong. I'm scared. I'm pooping myself right now because I'm so scared of your offense. But the biggest concern I have for you, if you have a spoil of riches like that, is that somebody's going to flake out. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to be mad tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great problem to have. I'll take that problem. We haven't been in that situation as an offense in a long time where we have so many weapons that we are not sure we can get everybody the ball.
Okay.
I mean, a couple of years ago, our second best receiver was Terrence Williams. When he left the Cowboys, I don't even think he got a job anywhere else.
I don't think he did either. I remember him riding a bicycle drunk and being pulled over.
Right, have never been to the level that they are now. So it's really exciting, and I think we'll become a more pass-heavy team than we have. So I think those guys will be fine. Zeke may end up a little frustrated. I don't think he's going to get the carries that he used to, but he'll still be involved in the passing game. So I'm excited. I don't think we'll have an issue with spreading the ball around. I think everybody, as long as you're winning games, the team stays happy. Whenever you start losing, that's when egos flare up.
That's true. Speaking of Zeke, I think that last year he definitely lost a step, whether he was out of shape or because of the holdout or he's starting to get banged up because he's that kind of runner that he's not elusive. He just runs through you. He's kind of elusive, but really he's like a power runner. I just wonder if he's going to start, tailing off a little. I think he still has a couple of 1,000-yard seasons, rushing seasons left in him. But just judging
Yeah.
by last year, I saw a little bit of regression. I don't know if that's just being lazy and fat and trying to, not caring so much or what.
Yeah, I'm with you, honestly. Um, I remember that he's declined about 10% every year since his rookie year. Give the ball to 20 times a game. They're going to wear it down. I mean, the David Johnsons, Todd Gurley's of the world, who were once thought of as the number one back, is declining.
Yeah, you're breaking up on me a little bit, so I only got a little bit of that, but I get the gist of it that he's definitely slowing down a little bit. Do you Let me ask you this: what do you think of your free agent signings? You guys got Gerald McCoy to shore up that defense. You guys got Aldon Smith, who, if he can keep his head out of trouble, this is a guy that I think will be absolutely phenomenal for you.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the free agency signings in general. Spending a lot of money on the D line, especially interior D line, I think can be questionable. I don't think we gave those guys a ton of money. The two interior guys we got were Terry Poe and Gerald McCoy, both solid guys, and we did have a really bad interior D line for a long time. But it's like, what interior D lineman is really making a difference in a game right now?
Fletcher Cox.
Aaron Darnold.
Fletcher Cox and Aaron Darnold.
He's kind of the one game record. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I shorted you on that one. But my point is, there's very few guys who are really wrecking games from the interior. On the outside, I still think
I disagree. I think your defensive. I think if you're the middle of your D is bad, and these guys Poe and McCoy. McCoy's at the end of his career. I don't think he's going to be an all-pro amazing player for you. I think he's going to be okay. Same thing with Poe and these are just fill-in guys. But I think if you have a weak interior, you're going to get run right out of it. It makes your whole defense, you'll get run into the ground. And I think that offense is going to stay on the sidelines because teams are going to run on you all day. And that's, then you're playing from behind. Now you're putting pressure on Dak to put up a lot of, to even though he has weapons, he still has to make every throw because that defense is going to be Swiss cheese. To me, I think that's your problem as an Eagles fan. Try not to be an Eagles fan. Just judging your roster. I think that's where you're going to possibly get your butt kicked. All right, so I think the here's the thing that I wanted to ask you the most. What's your expectation for your team next year? Give me a record. Give me a expectation playoff wise. And what do you think is going to
happen? I hesitate to actually be honest with people when they ask me because I think this is the best Cowboys team that they've put out there in a long time, honestly. And I think the Redskins are still really weak. I think we can both agree about that. The Giants have not done enough, and I don't believe Daniel Jones is ever going to be like the guy. So I think from the Cowboys' perspective, you guys, Eagles did the right things. Raiders are good.
Yeah, we're having connection issues again, it looks like.
Going to be the difference maker in the offense. And so I'm excited. I think we've got maybe the best team in the division and a coach who is willing to play to the strengths of his team now. So I think we've got a shot to make a deep run here for the first time in quite a few years.
I agree with you, and I think primarily it's because you don't have Jason Garrett. You're going to have a coach that I think is – any coach is an improvement over Jason Garrett at this point. So though I begrudgingly agree with you, here's what I think the Eagles are going to be. I think our defensive line, the middle of our defense, is good, and I think it matches up favorably to the now weakened offensive line that you guys have. Mm-hmm. You don't have Travis Frederick anymore. You don't have Dak's not going to have that much time to throw to all those weapons without.
Even like Tyron Smith has kind of been a little, injury prone and stuff. So
Mhm.
that's a question mark for us, kind of.
And Dak's proven that he is not the same player if he doesn't have all day to throw the football. A lot of quarterbacks are like that. The elite ones can get past it, like Russell Wilson. But Dak's not that guy. He needs his protection to operate at optimum. You know. Now let me fight you on this. Do you think Dak is better than Carson?
See, as a pure thrower, I think that they're really close and maybe give the edge to Carson. But people forget Dak. I'm pretty sure Dak leads the league in rushing touchdowns from quarterbacks over the last, since he came into the league. Obviously, he's not keeping up with Lamar on that in that sense. But when there's a lot of short yardage situations, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, where Dak being able to run the option as well as he does has really gotten us out of some tough spots. And so as a whole, I think when you're talking about the value that he adds to the team, I think that right now, and especially, man, he played well last year. He was a couple yards away from the all-time Cowboys passing yardage record. I mean,
Right.
he beat the heck out of the ball. So I've got to give it to Dak, man. At this point,
I can't say I'm surprised.
yeah. I mean,
But
you knew what I was when you brought me on.
yeah, I know what I was getting into. I think Carson, if he has your weapons, is stupid good. If you look at the 2 years ago when we won the Super Bowl, we had Torrey Smith, Alshon, a younger Alshon, Zach Ertz,
Right.
and those guys. We had a bunch of weapons. This year, I think we're going to have, with Rager and Jackson, 2 speed guys. We have 2 great tight ends, not just one. I think that matches up really well. I think your defense is going to be your weak spot overall. I think that depending on how that offensive line plays and, whether you're playing from behind a lot because your defense is giving up a lot of touchdowns, your team might struggle. And though, your roster overall with the names you have scares me, the game is won from the lines out. No matter – that's what – unless you're, I guess, the Chiefs. They had like a so-so defense, and I don't know. They had – the game is changing. It's pretty much basketball at this point. You know what I mean?
But that's I think the biggest move the Cowboys made was McCarthy over Garrett. And you look what he did in Green Bay. Obviously, he had Aaron Rodgers, but how frequently he passed the ball on 1st and 2nd down, how frequently he went through it forward on 4th down. He's willing to open up the offense and be aggressive, and I think that's a huge difference maker. Maybe the biggest addition that the Cowboys actually.
I don't want to throw a wrench into your thought process. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, but Aaron Rodgers didn't like Mike McCarthy. In fact, he hated his play calling. That's one of the reasons why Mike McCarthy got fired out of Green Bay, because Aaron couldn't stand him anymore. And his play calling. Yeah,
we got him, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, he's an improvement over Jason Garrett, I think. I just don't know what kind of an improvement, and I don't know if he's the kind of coach that needs Aaron Rodgers to be successful, because he's not made, a regular quarterback, great. We don't know what not that Dak is trash, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? A young Aaron Rodgers in his prime. He ain't that guy.
Yeah.
So you wonder how McCarthy is going to gel with all of that. It's an interesting perspective. The other problem that both of us have is the schedule. Do you know what opponents you have this year?
No, I haven't looked.
So let me read this list off to you. You may want to grab a beer. You get the Steelers with Ben coming back at Pittsburgh. You get the Ravens at Baltimore, at Cincinnati.
We like that one.
You like that one. They got Joe Burrow, and we share this schedule to a degree. You get the Browns at home, the Cardinals at home, which you're a little bit scared of. You get the Niners at home. No, I'm sorry. Did I read this correctly? This is what's the preseason versus the regular season? This is the preseason.
I don't even know if they're going to play a preseason now.
Yeah, they're probably not. Yeah, but you do get the Steelers, you get the Rams, you get at the Rams, at the Vikings, at the Seahawks, and then you get the Falcons, and you do get the Steelers, and you do get the Niners, and you do get the Cardinals. So there is the only team that you don't get, I think, is actually the Ravens. The Ravens you get in the preseason. That doesn't count. We get the Ravens. So that schedule is not easy. You know what I mean?
No, it is not. There's a lot of tough teams in there.
There's a lot of tough teams in there. So I really wonder how that's going to all play out. in any event, you're saying your official prediction is this is the best Cowboys team you've had. You're winning the division as far as you're concerned, right?
I think we're winning the division. I think we'll go at least, win a couple playoff games, and
A couple playoff games, huh?
I think so. I think I'm really excited. Now I get that it's football and you play the games for a reason. We could get out there and find out that nothing works. Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy have different play calling philosophies, and the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, we're in May. We're fantasizing right now.
It's so unpredictable, but I'm excited. I'm more excited this offseason than I've probably ever been as a Cowboys fan.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that. How do you see the Dak Prescott contract playing out? How do you think that's gonna?
I think.
You think he'll sign, or you think he's gonna be franchised, or is it gonna be a Kirk Cousins situation where your quarterback is disgruntled and Andy Dalton is your guy?
I hope not. I think the Andy Dalton signing is partially leverage for the Cowboys to say, "Hey, Dak, we can work without you. We have this Andy Dalton guy, and he's done pretty well for himself." But ultimately, I think he's going to sign an extension. I think they'll wait till right up till the deadline, and then they'll sign him. And from what I know, one of the bigger question marks is the length of the deal. I think we want him to sign a longer deal.
He wants 7 years versus 5 or 4. That's
yeah. So I think he wants like 4, and the Cowboys are like, no, we want longer. So
because he signed a 7-year deal, or like an 8-year. He signed like a long year.
I was not happy with the Zeke deal, man. But anyways, I think Dak will end up signing.
Yeah. Listen, man, I really appreciate you joining me. This was good. I think having a conversation like this is important for Eagles fans to listen to, so they know how optimistic. And I think rightfully so. You guys had a great draft, and I just don't think your defense is as good as you think they're going to be, and I think your offensive line is going to take a step back, which ultimately I think.
Yeah, the defense is a question mark. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Diggs is going to have to really step up because Byron was a
lockdown dude. He didn't get the interceptions, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I think I think our teams are close. Injuries aside, I think the Eagles are probably going to be better if we don't get injured like we've been getting injured.
Yeah.
And even if we do get injured, I think Carson played well with absolutely nobody. He keeps throwing it fifth and sixth receivers off the street guys. I like our coach more than I like any other coach. I like him more than I like McCarthy. I like him more than a lot of other guys. I think that's underrated. We'll see how it plays out. But I really appreciate you jumping on with me. Hope we can do this again during the regular season and fight about the games and stuff like that if there are games to fight about.
I'd love to, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Man. Talk to you later.